Hi guys, so I'm just going to talk briefly about one of my favorite options within Photoshop Lightroom called the sync function. So if you guys have ever shot with me, you'd know that I tend to be able to get photos in and out the door pretty quickly. And a lot of people wonder, well, how is it that you were able to process stuff so fast? So I'm going to show you today one of the main tools I use to actually help me get my photos in and out the door really quickly. So we're going to start off with this image here. So this is from a photo shoot at the Royal Botanic Gardens the other day with our good friend Jennifer. Now, as you can see at the bottom here, quite a few of these photos are under the same sort of lighting conditions, similar dress, and I really wanted to just use the same settings pretty much across all of them. So all I'm going to do is go through each one, maybe do a slight tweak on the exposure if necessary, and then basically just say, okay, you know what, this image is fine, I'm going to export it. So I'm going to start off with this image here, and I'm going to, because it's the first one, and I'm going to make my adjustments to this how I want to. So I'm going to bump up the highlights. I'm going to bring down the highlights here because as you can see the background is quite blown out. I'm going to bump up the contrast, maybe bring down the exposure a tad. I usually like to bring down the white and up the blacks a tad for this kind of thing. I'll bring down clarity, up vibrance, and decrease the saturation just a little bit. And then in the tone curve, we're going to change this to medium contrast. And to get that faded back black look, we're just going to pull up the tail end of the tone curve here just a tad to get this image. And as always, just put a little bit of split toning into the shadows and bump up the sharpening just a tad, a little bit of noise reduction, and see if that looks okay. That looks fine. Might bring up the noise reduction just a little bit more to 10. Okay, looks good. And I'm going to put a little bit of a vignette on this as well. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to take these exact settings, I'm going to apply them to all of these images so I don't have to go ahead and edit all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this image held and I'm going to scroll all the way to the end of where I want to go. So I'm going to apply these to all these images and then tweak them as I go. So I'm going to take this, scroll all the way to the end, oh, not quite that far, and using Control Shift, click that and select all of them. And then you see this little option here, Sync, comes up. I'm going to click on that, and then these options come up, Synchronize Settings. So I don't always tend to sync all. I tend to leave white balance off, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll turn it back on, really depends. So the ones I don't tend to do are local adjustments. I'll leave off any of the transformations, spot removal, and cropping. And then just hit Sync. And now it has applied all of those settings to all of those images. So now you can just go through nice and quick and select which images you think actually look good. So if I go back to the beginning now, I'm just going to deselect them. And now all you can do is you can just go through one by one and you can see, you know what, these ones are the ones I want to use, and these ones are not. And if you need to make any quick changes to any of them individually, you can do that as well. But the general look and processing is all the same. As you can see on this one, I could show this before and after, so it's done the same effects as the first one. Anyway, so that's a nice simple option you can use to make your editing a lot faster. Yeah, thanks.